Hello, Graham Vincent, violin maker and musician. I've just recorded the previous video about shaping necks, and it occurred to me, I mean, basically there's a lot of talk and not much action. So as I've got this other violin, which I'm just about to do exactly the same thing to, I thought it'd be quite amusing for you if this time I don't do any talking at all. Well, I might do the odd bit of pontificating as I go, but fundamentally this is going to be about actually just me doing it. So everything you saw in the last video will now hopefully be being put into action. So at the moment we've got a neck which I've just finished shaping roughly, I mean very roughly, using this little beauty that I talked about. So yeah, I mean that was done, you know, by hand. You know, I generally like hold my thumb there, and you know, so it gives you a sort of an axis to move around, you know. So take it down as close as I dare, you know, with that. And so here we are. Right, let's crack on. My bathroom sort of air vent is on, so there'll be a little bit of noise. Right. So I'm just marking out the position of the end of the curve as I see it when it's done. So that bit there will be 20.5, this bit will be 18.5, and there'll be a straight line between the two. Alright, let's give it a go. I'm going to start with this, which is a really aggressive saw rasp. Sort of Japanese, I think. Was it Japanese or Chinese design? Really good, actually. Not far off already, actually. I tend not to fasten it down in case things catch. I don't want to put any stress on the thing itself. I don't mind if it gets, you know, if it gets moved around and what have you. Nineteen and a half, so it's about another millimetre needed off there. 21, nearly there. I'm going to swap over to a slightly more, actually no, I'm going to use this one, this flat one. So slightly gentler cut. What I'm trying to do at this stage is get the center line right, you know, the height at the center line. Getting very close. Like most things in woodworking, remember you can always take a bit more off. It's a lot more work to put stuff back on. looking good. Nearly there. I can feel that that's a straight line without any bulges in it. That's really good. I mean, I kind of achieved that by making sure this is turned so the actual cutting flat is, a length that long on there. Right. I reckon I'm going to find that's about right now. Experience tells me. So I'm about 0.2 of a mil over still on those measurements, and that's fine by me. I wonder if you can see this. At the top is 0, and these are 0.1 of a mil, aren't they? Yeah. That's right. So from there to there is 1 millimeter. So here we go. Let's see if you can. Got to work out how to hold this so you can see it, but. Right, so you can see that's 20.6 down to 18.6. So we're 0.1 of a millimeter over on those measurements, and that's good. I'm happy with that. So by eye, I'm going to put a center line in there. You notice I often will use a finger to work against, so I'm just putting that. It makes it easy to make fine adjustments to what I'm doing. That looks pretty good. That's about the center. This scraper is shorter than my ruler. It's flexible, and I know that the edge is sharp and straight. So there's my line I'm going to work to. Now I wouldn't normally bother putting this line in. I just have it in mind, but I mean, basically this is the line here. Everything between those two lines is now going to be done as a simple curve rather than a complex curve. It will develop into a complex curve from there up. Simple curve basically means something that's curved only in one direction. So if you can do it on a piece of paper, it's a simple curve. If you have to use plasticine to model that shape, it's a complex curve. It's curved not only in that way but also in that way. So it's a compound or complex curve. So we're just between those lines, simple curves. And as I showed on the last video, I mean, imagine that is the fingerboard cross section through there. Some people, I mean, that's one kind of, that's a sort of a D, which is more like a guitar neck, and then other people will go for something more like a catenary arch. Does that make sense? D, catenary arch, where this bit of the radius is much tighter than that bit. So mine tend to be, if that's a scale from there to there, mine tend to be about there, probably. So sense. And it's choose whichever weapon you think is the appropriate one for the amount you've got to take off. On this occasion I've decided to use a fairly simple, it's just a mill file, it's a double cut file, just a cheap one. So, I've just got in there and started filing it down as I see fit. And then every now and then I'll stop and have a look. You're not going to be able to see this, but basically one of the interesting things to do is actually turn this so you can see the visible timber outside of the black ebony of the fingerboard. And what you're looking for is a consistent width, and it's a very useful way of very quickly seeing when what more needs to come off. I'm sure a lot of people who make violins will be horrified by what I'm doing. As I always say, this isn't me saying you have to do it like this. Always, I'm simply saying this is what I do, and it's nothing more than that. And if it serves the purpose of allowing you to think, well, I certainly won't do it that way, then it's served a purpose of its own anyway. So I'm okay with that. But this is just how I like to do things. And you know, this is, for me, this is violin 40 something, so I'm starting to know my way round a little bit more without having to double check everything all the time. I'm getting there. This has got this wonderful extraction system, just a bathroom extractor. I don't know if you can see that, but I mean it's fantastic because the dust from this is just going and disappearing up there. Simple, cheap, very effective. This side I'm very happy with. I'll probably take a little bit more weight off this bit. This one is still very chunky, so I'll take a bit more from here. It still feels like there's a real flat spot in the middle, so there's more to take off here and here. Definitely. But this one, there's a lot here still to come out. Not so much on this side, maybe a little bit. So let's start with where most has got to come out. And like I say, I know that this line down the centre is at the right height pretty much, or slightly over it, so I'm trying not to touch that at all. Starting to feel nice. Let's move over to scraper for a bit. This is a sycamore neck, and it's a fairly plain grain, so it's very easy to scrape a lovely straight shape into it. I like that because I do like a fairly plain grain on the neck, and it's maybe a little bit boring to look at, but it's kind of a nice utilitarian thing. It's a tool. This is a tool. And that straight grain gives you a sort of fairly honest working tool rather than a fancy one. I like it. It's part of the style of what I do, I guess. Okay, that's feeling really good now. Yeah, like that. Maybe a little bit more to come off there. And sighting on here, yeah, I can see that's exactly where it's got to come off. Okay, I'm now going to change over to shaping these curves, because at the moment we've got the start of a nice neck shape, but bumping into a lump there and here, so I've got to shape these bits. I think I'll move up to my stronger glasses. And again, you see, I'm holding this thumb here and then this one against it so that I can create a pivot, a center point in the spot where I want it, so that I can work this knife in a nice curve around that point. Nice. Other things going on in my life at the moment. I turned 59 like a week ago. And 59 is how old my father was when he died. So my brother, who's 18 months older than me, did describe how that was a terrifying year for him. And I know how he feels. Hopefully I'll make it through the year. But more excitingly than that, my son, Tristan, just graduated with his master's degree in architecture. So that's probably the best birthday present. That was lovely. And then I get to spend my time doing this, so it's not all bad, is it? I'll just turn the extraction off for a bit, because one of the nice things about using sharp edge tools rather than sanding tools is, of course, they produce virtually zero dust. It's what I mean about holding that thumb where I need the center point for the arc that I'm cutting. I'm being very careful not to come in below the level of this surface, which would foul things up. Getting there. I can hear Cassie barking outside. Let me open the door so she can come in if she wants. Oh, Cassie, all right. She tends not to come in the workshop very often because she doesn't like being shut in here. Not that she gets shut in here very often, but she normally gets shut in here with me when my daughter, her owner, is going out, and she prefers to be wherever my daughter is. Yeah, now we're getting there. Hello, Cassie. There's a good girl. Oh, she's down at my feet now. hope the magnification is okay and you can actually see what I'm doing. So, I started off a few minutes ago with a real step up there, and what I've done is I've been trimming this round so it now flows in more or less to that. I'll probably move over to a file for the rest of that. And now on this bit here, we've got the same thing. We've got the, where I dared take it with that, the step down to the actual, pretty close to the shape I want. So I'm now going to do the same thing I did with this here. Well, the dog has definitely decided to join me in the workshop tonight. I feel honoured. It's sort of mid-part of the evening now. My plan, I think, this evening is to just take this to the point where I'm happy with the file work on this. So I'll carry on. It's probably going to take me another 5 minutes with a knife, and then I will. Then I'll change over to scraping and filing. And when I can show you that we've ended up with a fairly nice shape, then I think we'll call it a day on the video. It's going well at the moment. So some of you are going to be alarmed because it's going to look like I'm cutting towards myself. What I'm doing is kind of this kind of movement, really, to enable me to control the curve that I'm cutting, because otherwise you just end up following the shape that's already been cut, and that can gradually move away from what you actually want. Just evolves its own shape. Not necessarily a good one, but by using this technique of working against this pivot I'm producing, it enables me to dictate the curve with a lot more control, if that makes sense. Do you know what? I keep saying if that makes sense. It's like I doubt that I'm explaining things very well, and in all honesty, that's how I do feel. I hope it's coming across reasonably well. I hope a lot of the people who watch these videos will actually be people who do get on and get the tools out and play with them and make things, because then you'll be the people who understand what it is I'm trying to get across. Yeah, this is nice shape, good, that's working well. Happy with that. Right, when I started this whittling, you'll remember there was a big step there, and I hope you can see that it's gone and it's now smoothly sort of transitions into this simple curve that I was talking about there. So we've got these compound curves flowing in. So I'm now going to swap over to working with rasps and files. So I will turn on the dust extraction again. Start with a slightly larger rasp, which is more aggressive. Be a little bit careful that you don't end up with this going too deep here. It's got to flow in as a tangent onto that neck profile. That's what you're looking for all the time. So as you can see, I'm using a half round file and rasp, and you can for file. I think it's called a bastard cut, strictly speaking, because it's a file, but it's cut with in several directions, and so it gives sort of halfway between a file and a rasp. But you'll see that I'm sort of swapping over between the round and the flat faces. So, you know, round face, flat face. Round. It's quite a lump there, actually. I think I'm going to go back to the knife for that bit. Just to take that out. And you could do it with a rasp, it just takes a lot longer. That feels lovely under the thumb. Right, other side. I do apologise, this is probably going to be quite a long and quite a boring video, but I'll just upload it all uncut. For the 2 or 3 people who actually want to watch the whole thing all the way through. The rest of you can skim through, no doubt, or, well, the rest of you won't even be hearing this bit. Oh dear. So that was a totally redundant sentence. That's nice. It's already nice. It's already feeling good. Good. Right, let's move to a sort of more gentle, finer tool. Like all of these things, there are so many different ways of doing this. This is kind of where I've got to. There are faster ways. I quite like the speed I'm working at because it gives you time to get used to the feel of the neck under your hands, but at the same time it doesn't drag on interminably. So for me, this is a nice speed of work, which also gives you sort of, as I say, a time to get acquainted with the form you're making. So it's not too fast, it's not too slow. Is that a weird thing to say? Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Do you know what I might do? Is I might make up like just a piece of timber or something and just sits, but mimics the sort of string height, so I can just lay it on there. Almost something like this flexible bit of plastic, but tapered, so it's thicker at this end. So I can just put it on there and feel what the strings are going to feel like. And that's good. I like that. That's nice. I think we're onto something with this one. Yeah. Obviously I hadn't picked this up for a while. I've got a cobweb with the remains of a woodlouse on it. How's that feeling? How's that looking? I've still got some work to do on this heel cap tomorrow, just to sort of smarten that up. But I'm really happy with that neck. I think I'm going to stop it there, because we've gone from a really rough neck that was literally straight off me just going like this to a neck that is pretty much playable now. Lovely. Yep, so first thing in the morning I shall come out and deal with this area, but the actual neck and how it flows into... Anyway, it seems I managed to not record the last bit, but I've got this up to a stage now where I have to do some work on the sort of the ebony, well, it's not ebony, on the crown cap there. Little bit of work around there, but the neck itself is all sorted and ready to go. I will refine that a little bit in the morning. I'll use a little bit of scraping on it just to get it feeling good. But fundamentally, the work on the actual real shaping the neck is now done. There we are. I hope that was useful. Look after yourselves. See you soon, folks. Cheers. Bye.